Okay.
All right, being that it's 6:30 and we have a quorum, I'll call the meeting of the Conservation Commission for January 15th open. I will entertain a motion for approval of minutes from the 18th.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, we have no new hearings tonight. And we have approval for use of Holmes's Hill.
Yep, I have it right here. What I thought was organized. They do this every year. And I thought you would just sort of, if you have any special comments on the bottom, and then I'll fax it back to him tomorrow, or now, email it back.
I have no problems with them using it for their annual,
They do some type
Outdoor.
of a fire service
Oh,
ceremony out there.
Every year they do
yeah,
that.
they do this down at
A
the,
couple of times a year they do it for
Yeah,
that
that's
class.
fine. No problem.
Right.
They've always done a good job after.
entertain a motion to allow them to use it.
Make the motion.
Second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Very good.
That's done.
I don't know who did it. I didn't see who made the motion.
I
Mo
made the
moved it,
motion.
and Steve
Steve
seconded
seconded
it.
it.
All right.
Second.
You wanna have?
You've got a
Inside
huge
come in?
amount of information on different things in there.
Right.
Um,
First on the agenda is Ames Drive, which they're out in the hall discussing.
Is that without?
What are you here for?
Just general business.
General business, okay.
Do you want to sit closer and bond?
Well, then at this point, to get you out of here, you're up. What do we got?
Okay. This should be quick. It's Pleasant Street. It's 249 to 251. And what we're looking for is the area's been highly disturbed. There was so there's construction debris and there's also a field area. And what we're looking to do is, this is just to see if there could be a potential for a waiver request from the 50-foot buffer zone, the no-touch. And the reason being is, right now, this is the pad here that my client's hoping for a future project, this area here. Right now, we're going to restore or create wetlands in this dark blue hatched area there, and there's also a little piece here and a little piece right here. So those would be areas of wetland creation. And for wildlife, we're gonna provide a wet meadow corridor that comes around the property. So 495 is, Route 24 is right here, that's the easement. And of course, Pleasant Street's right here. So this would allow some of these aquatic turtles and things access to where the stream runs under the highway here. So that would allow the corridor for them. Any proposed development here would likely be what's kind of like what's over here, and there's just a steel building there currently. And what we would like to propose for that would be infiltrate all drainage, so there's no, like what was done over here. There's a small stormwater basin in the back, but it's like over here. That's just for some of the parking lot area that couldn't all be put in there for larger storms. But everything pretty much was infiltrated. And there would be a barrier basically put along the edge here so that wildlife wouldn't come into the area where people would be. So those are the two things that would be done for a future project located there. So basically the replication and this area here, the green hatched, would be a restoration. And basically there would be, for the wet meadow, which is 25-foot area here, there would be a management plan so that the other wetlands wouldn't be touched. So it'd be, set the blade of the mower up at about a foot, check the area beforehand, and this would all come in a notice of intent. So basically, the areas that would be preserved on this site would be wetland creation, replication, I call it creation area, but it's considered replication, would be 36,385 square feet. The wetland restoration would be 82,300 feet, with the wetland enhanced area, and that would be that wet meadow corridor here. That's approximately 20,200 feet. So the total area for being restored, replicated, or enhanced would be 138,885 square feet. And all of it would then be put into a conservation restriction. But not only that area, it would also be this large area over here. It equates approximately 10.8 acres. So it's a lot of area. So that's, or sorry, no, I misquoted, 10.08 acres. So that's what it, those are the estimate, the estimated sizes. So this is, of course, we're not asking, we didn't file a waiver request, there's no permit application. This is just, would the board, would they accept if we were to file a waiver request for this? Would that be a possibility? That's all we're looking for right now, because we're trying to work out some deals and get some things going so that we can clear, there's an a SORAD right now on the property that we're dealing with DEP, so we want to clear all this, and then we want to move forward. So we want to know if this is something that would be acceptable.
What's in the replication area?
The replication, this
What's in that
area,
area now?
piles of debris. So there's construction and demolition material. And the areas outside of it, so underneath here, that's a pile, these are all piles in here.
Is that all considered wetland right there?
Right, well, this area hasn't been considered wetland. We have an agreement with DEP. I actually went out and delineated that this area over here would be wetland. There's upland soils in there, but we're just looking to say, okay, look, we'll agree with you.
So what's in the rest of that?
This is a wet field right
Okay.
now. It's a field.
And what's all the rest of that area?
This, behind this green line, that's all forested wetland.
That's all wetland?
That's wetland, yeah. There's some uplands in there too,
so
but
it
it's
wouldn't have
just,
to be-
But to
Little-
get to them is,
yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
you wouldn't develop that.
Wouldn't be able to do it anyways, even
No.
if you would have given it
No.
to
No
us
way.
anyways.
Yes.
So how
So,
did the debris get in there?
So what
without
are you
having a
asking
problem?
from the board? I don't get-
just a consideration.
to
What's-
do work within the 50-foot, to waive our 50-foot.
Yes, because basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna convert this to wetland. So it's not wetland now. So this area over here, there is actually a wetland delineation. Why don't I bring this
If you
closer
look
so
at
you can
John's,
see?
Oh,
he
does he have
did,
a sketch?
yeah,
Oh,
the last
Yes.
page of
And
John's
yeah, you did.
line.
Also, you can see the flag numbers on there.
You can
I
show
mean, it's been delineated.
what's
went out-
green is the wetland
And DEP said they accept.
line.
Yeah.
So
It's been
there's
established.
no issue there.
DEP's establishing it.
Oh, okay, that's all wetland.
That's, yeah, this is the wetland line. So it's really a couple spots where the fingers and this edge that are within the 50-foot.
Here.
Right, they'd be here,
All right,
this
I
area
know what it
here,
is.
this
I was
little
looking at
bend.
this.
But-
Would they
I know
wanna
right where you're
work
talking
in
about.
it
So
anyway?
they're gonna be working in the wetland.
Right, this, they wouldn't do any, except for, they could, if you look at this, say this finger, if they were, if we were to grant them work, they would wanna use this, so they'd be within our 50-foot jurisdiction from
Then you'd
this
wanna have
point.
a waiver to work in the wetland then, for this.
But there's no work, right, for the replication, they'd need a waiver to work
In the wetland. So you
So
need two
where-
waivers.
But it really, right now, is just
50-foot
an
line
open
be?
field and debris.
That red
The
line?
50-foot would be inside the red. You can see in some areas, I believe, because this, what's the scale on this? 1 inch equals 40. So yeah, it would be up to probably about where the red line is here. In this area, it would be further in. But we're going, this right now is all disturbed. And like we said, I don't necessarily agree with it. We said with DEP, look, I know you want your enforcement order, you want the Attorney General's office wants their money, that's fine, we'll agree to this.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, so we just wanted to come before the board and say, if we agree to all of this, just to move that forward, would this be a permittable project? Right now, this is, all the construction debris is in this area.
Right, and you
Demo with the
you
blue.
said you would be removing all
We'll
the
remove
construction.
all of that, yes. So that's what's being proposed.
And I mean, the area, basically, everything that's green is pretty much the field or the open area to begin with already.
Correct, yes, but
So-
DEP, I don't know how much this commission has dealt with the change layer. I find it interesting. I have 5 or 6 of these cases going on right now. So, but what I've learned is, even if it's a change from, say, a wooded swamp, and somebody has an herbaceous wetland, or even a shrub wetland, if it wasn't restored to a full wooded swamp, they'll still pick it up under the change layer, consider it, they can issue a violation. So that's what's occurring. So this area that's now wet meadow, under this, it's wooded swamp mixed forested is what is considered on GIS in the attributes table for this data layer. So we're gonna restore it to that. So that's why we have such large restoration areas, is because if we plant all this is 82,200 square feet. It's a lot of area. So, and as far as the restoration, I did put in my letter the plants I would utilize, and they're the native ones on the site, excellent for wildlife habitat. So, a lot of fruit bearing, so, and a lot of insect interactions, so I think it would be, when I do my creations or restorations, I like to make sure that they work. The plan would be very detailed. There's even invasive plant species management plan in my typical, they're usually like 20 or 30 pages.
So there will be future building on that then.
Yes.
My only concern when John brought it to me was, I know we can't stop the development, but that big blue box that sits there with no green anywhere on it, it's either the blue box or pavement. I mean, I'm surprised Chris on the planning board said yes to having it all paved and all
Where?
box.
Right there?
The one next door.
Yes.
Yes,
To the
this one
right of
over
it.
here.
Normally, I mean, like, most of the commercial developments, they have islands or plantings or something added
How
to it.
long ago was that done, though?
4 or 5 years,
That's
Yes.
all?
not that old.
Yeah, the pavement is still pretty.
Yeah,
And there was no jurisdiction here because of the.
right. I mean, I just would like to see the development when it comes before the town to put something a little bit better than just all pavement.
Yeah.
I mean, most commercial developments have some type of green islands or trees or something, and
Right,
how they let that other one go in with nothing, I was
Yes,
surprised.
yeah.
I know they wanted to put all the drainage
So the
underground.
relief, it would be just some work around in.
Right, around, within the 50, and then allowing them to do the replication work within the wetland.
Why would you want to voluntarily replicate, just to get rid of the junk?
Right, there's so much debris there that,
No one's gonna wanna.
And to be able to
Yeah.
build on it future.
Yeah.
Future.
Well, it's preliminary, really.
right, and I mean, it's gonna improve considerably what's
Yes,
there.
well, it's a
I
big-
mean,
It's a big area, and I've
No, I
never
mean,
seen it,
it's-
so.
Yeah, plus if you get rid of the debris.
yeah, I mean, the
Just
debris
step in the right
piles
direction.
are 4 or 5
Yeah, but
stories high. I mean, they're,
Yeah,
They're up there.
probably 35, 40 feet, some of them, yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll start
Actually, let's see,
future
we have the
improvement.
topo on, well, it says 80 feet, but it's just the contour. So let's see, we go up from 68
Is it
to 80.
visible from
Yeah.
Pleasant?
oh yeah, you
So
drive
that's-
by it,
yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
Let's see, they turn the contours
Mhm.
off.
I'd be inclined to say,
Well, just the replication
Yeah.
itself is
to get the improvement and to have it
to be able to do
established
that.
and put a corridor in there and give protection around it to,
And the 10 acres altogether.
right,
Yeah.
and knowing that across the street, they had to do buffers and stuff to keep the turtles from crossing the site.
Yes.
If we can keep them from crossing the road and into this site, that's
Well,
fine.
when I spoke with Natural Heritage, they said they wanted the corridor. So I
Yeah.
said, we'll put the corridor in, and we'll put in, the standard, either a wall, like a stone wall, or, with the.
Something as a barrier that they're
yeah,
not
the-
gonna get.
And the other one we typically do, which I don't like as much, is the more commercials, the black chain link fence with the hardware cloth that goes down about a foot and a half below the surface, and it just comes up, 6-8
Yeah.
inches below, well, 10 inches above, and then basically that keeps them from digging or trying to get through. So that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's workable.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have a problem with it going forward, so.
Well, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
You're welcome.
We'll see you again, I'm sure.
Yes. Have a good evening.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.
One Ames. I assume that's what you gentlemen are here for. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
There's something in your packet on that.
Okay, make sure you sign in, please.
Okay. Where are we at?
Okay, the order of conditions that was granted by this commission required that we establish the restricted area, the easement over it. We have brought this plan to the board, requesting that the board review the plan, and hopefully accept that as satisfaction of that restricted area. Got 3 folder copies here, we have a large one here, and I noted on it, the restricted area covers the entirety of the area beyond the wetland flag, and we have noted on it, under note 2, no clearing, construction, or alterations of the ground surface shall occur within the conservation restricted area or within 100 feet of any wetland resource area without prior approval of the West Bridgewater Conservation Commission. So basically, we're giving you full authority to restrict any activities, not only within the area that's shown as a restricted area, but also within the 100 foot, which actually we're not giving you anything because you have that by the statute anyway, but it puts it on record.
Just puts it on
that
the
you
plan,
have
so
that,
somebody
that you have that
buys it,
authority.
they have it on the plan.
I would like to point out that this area actually covers almost 4 acres. Comes out to 3.97 acres. That's within the green shaded area restricted.
You have something in each of your packets, and there's somewhere.
Yep.
Some of it even has colors.
That's the same thing we're looking at there.
If you remember also, the previous plan that was marked up was 18,000 square feet of upland. And the actual upland is 52,000. That's what I was concerned with.
You gotta kick the tires.
Seems to me that one of the issues was that the new homeowners, that it be clear to them with a deed restriction, was that what we were talking about? That they clearly
The concern of the
understand?
board was that even though it's, that 100-foot buffer zone is there,
Right.
that the homeowner, when they buy it, I guess they go in later on, they don't, and they
Right.
claim they don't realize it.
Right.
Well, this way here, they're getting it on the plan that's recorded, and it has that written right on it, and that gets recorded with a deed.
This is just a paper copy. It will be printed out on Mylar and recorded in the Registry of Deeds.
So at that point there,
I recall
they
that
have,
being one of the
yeah,
biggest.
just put some teeth into it, and that's, I think, what the board wanted to do.
Right, and I mean, having a deeded easement or right of way, that really wasn't a major issue on our part. I know you
Yeah, I
wanted that
didn't
removed, and
want
that,
right, this
that's,
is just a restriction.
my concern was the original, when I thought we were talking about the marks on this are your wetland flag marks?
Yes,
Okay.
Wetland flag marks and the small replication area
Area
that's outlined
on
in red.
I don't have a problem with this per se, but I know under the order of conditions, I believe we had flags to be put on. Markers?
Posts.
Posts.
That is one of the conditions,
Okay.
yes, you do require conservation markers to be placed, and that is a separate issue from this, we're not
Okay.
requesting relief from
Okay.
that requirement.
I mean, because that basically cuts this finger off
Yeah.
with the 50-foot no touch.
Yeah.
I mean, which I don't really have a problem with the plan, and I actually like having it actually put onto something where they, I mean, they've got to go back and look for it and make sure they understand their deed and take a look. I'm saying third or fourth person down the road, not the
Yep.
person you sell it to,
Right,
may or may not, but again, buyer beware, it's their responsibility as.
right. And there is some upland on this right side.
Yep,
That
yep.
we're just throwing in, because, you couldn't build on it anyways.
So this,
Where is the
in the
house
green is
here?
about how many acres?
This house
3.9?
here
Three,
is
three,
right about
3.97
here.
acres, 4 acres.
What's
That's
the
like
difference
just the
between
green
walking
areas.
over
In
here?
the green, that's correct.
This is pretty wet.
Okay.
The new house would be here.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
See,
that's
this
the
is-
house
if
that
you
oh,
look at
I'm
John's
looking the
second
other
one.
way.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
It would
okay.
be, there's a house here, and then the new house would be, there'd be a new house going in this area, and then an existing house here and here.
Okay, I was looking at it upside
Yep.
down.
Yep.
Yeah, well. See what John had.
Well-
Do you have any comments?
You can't really do anything but the markers, but from
Huh?
that and everything being recorded and all that stuff. I think we finally,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my only question would be the replication spot we have here,
Yes,
would it, come on up. Would it make any more sense just to take this and put it right over here?
the botanist that flagged it
Yeah.
had it there.
Mm-hmm.
John requested it there. I said to John, why wouldn't you want to just join this straight across? It makes more sense. And he said he preferred it to be here. When it's up here, and
Yeah,
this is,
Was it the,
you're
with the,
trying to create a
Oh,
wetland
okay.
in an upland area. It's going to be very difficult to make that work there. We're going to have to dig it out and make it low, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me, but that was something that John had requested.
it's probably,
I think his reason for requesting it there was access. He was afraid that if we put
Driveway,
it way
yeah.
over here, we would
Yeah.
disturb more buffers on getting to it.
to it, okay,
Construction.
yep. Yeah, I'm looking to see the last plan
Right.
that was,
But the botanist did have.
did the
it
same
around.
thing, thinking that,
Right.
yep. Area, seeing that it's, okay, I see on John's, where we
Yeah.
had originally, okay, I get it, I mean, I don't have a problem.
we'll deal with the other
No,
stuff
I
later.
think, my biggest concern really was that the homeowner is aware,
Right.
not this, but say, as we say,
The next
2, 3,
homeowner,
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And
2,
now
3, 4
it's-
down the
it's
line.
clear,
Right, yep.
so-
Well, there will be now, so.
Right. Anybody have any other concerns?
No,
No, we
no,
can deal
no,
with,
sorry.
we can deal with the markers later.
If not, I will entertain a motion to issue an amended.
Don't we have to advertise for that? They have to come in and ask, or do you want it to be
This could be a,
it needs to be advertised in a public hearing for an amended order, but this could be a minor change.
right, that's what I'm thinking, because I
Is
mean,
it
it's
going
really just recording
Re-recording.
plan. I mean, it's not a major, this was already, we're not changing the wetland line, we're not changing anything, we're just,
So it'd be a minor change.
you're right.
It would be
a
more of a certificate of compliance.
Exactly.
Right.
Partial, if we would
17, 18,
record the
19.
plan and bring you proof of recording, then possibly a partial certificate of compliance for those
And then it
conditions.
doesn't require an amended anything.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, I don't know if you want me to move the application area back to where it was, or leave it where it is.
You can leave it where it is, that's
Okay.
fine. I mean, after I looked at this one, I said, oh, okay, I see what John was thinking, why he
Yeah.
wanted to. All right.
So what is final result?
We gonna,
Is it
just an
amended or a
amended-
minor change?
We'll just call it
Minor change.
a minor change and in the final certificate require proof of recording.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All set?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I left 3 photocopies with the commission. Do you need any additional copies?
We should be good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Have a good night. Thank you.
What did he say the final certificate of compliance will show?
Yeah, we'll have them, proof of recording
Oh.
in the bylaws.
Few things to sign.
We have a request for certificate of compliance from 91 Ash Street? 61 Ash Street. And it looks like John on his report. All the grading's done, the repair's done,
No issues.
no issues. So I'll entertain a motion to issue certificate of compliance without a bond.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Moved and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Signatures? Right. Next we have 253 Pleasant Street. Request for certificate of compliance. And let's see.
253.
Item number 3 on our, and that one, John also says the grading is done, system is in, and has no problems, so I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance without a bond.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Moved.
I have one here that will help you get through a lot of them. That's for the last two, Scotland and Crescent.
Oh, the 153 and 373.
Yep. Okay, we have Michael Koskin Associates has been retained to, looks like, to do engineering work. So we've got an update. Looks like we'll be moving forward finally.
Okay. Finally. Want to read it?
If we
So
just-
he's doing both then?
both of them, and at this point, since there's
They
no
related?
real filing, we'll just continue to
Yeah.
put it on the agenda for February
19th.
19th. Yeah, that's what they
That's
asked,
both
so
of them.
we'll.
So they're apparently bringing in some plan.
Michael said that he already has the field work done for Crescent Street, that he needs to put together a nice plan, and that he is doing diligence on the other site still.
So at least we'll get an update,
Yeah.
and we actually have an engineer that actually on board.
Now, who is it that made those motions? That motion, those to continue it?
No, we didn't.
We haven't yet.
Oh, that's why I didn't hear.
I will entertain a motion to continue the enforcement order.
We'll make the motion.
Second?
Move
To
the second, all those in
continue
favor?
the enforcement?
Well, the discussion of the enforcement order until
Okay.
February 19th. And John,
Boom.
65 Maple Street, DEP site section requirements, which he has a report in here.
Motion to agree with the stipulations.
Looks like that's gonna.
was 65 people, I recall.
I might miss you. I might miss you.
Okay, no, won't get that far away. Right next to him.
What was going on there? Are they building now, or is that?
That's what it is.
That, yeah, I think they wanna start, and being that it's the time of season it is, they were looking for relief of some type, but I think with John's recommendation, with the weather and all,
Right.
um,
Was it a house, or what was going on there?
this one was a house, a tear down and redo.
Okay. We just want some relief on that.
Yeah, from site inspections over the whole entire winter, which,
Expensive,
yeah. That being said, I'll entertain a motion to accept the request for suspended site inspections with the agreement stipulations as John gave us a copy of.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, accepted. Everybody got copies of the upcoming MAC Association winter meeting,
Think about that one.
which
Haven't been for a while.
Saturday, March 2nd. The list of topics and everything is there, so take a look and we have a little bit of time to register.
All right.
And, Kitty, you have anything for us to sign?
I
for-
do. I bought some ink. And I bought a new stamp. I wanna make sure that I have given you everything.
This is for the stamp.
Spending money like crazy, huh?
This is one other thing here that, oh, did you have this from Maple Street?
Yes, there was a copy in.
Oh, good, I did that.
Yep, you put it in the
I
packet.
did. I had, was thinking several things here.
Getting the budget ready, are we?
Level funded except for the contractual increases.
Yeah. I noticed,
Which, when are they gonna release the hounds and let us not have level funded? This is like year number 12.
yeah, I have no idea.
I mean, it's like a standard
Who's,
operating procedure to.
We have a new, who's the select person that's gonna be reelected?
That must be
Anthony?
Anthony,
He's up?
he's the one.
Whenever they're chairman, that's the year they go out. It's scary.
Yeah. Well, I got the schedule for the budget hearing already. It's come around
You're
already.
gonna be busy. And I did get an inquiry on the Scotland Street property from a farmer that would be interested in coming up with some type of hay crop or working with us on it.
110 acres or whatever it is.
So when John gets back, I will talk to him and find out whether he wants me to approach National Heritage and everybody and see if we can come to some type of agreement that they will allow us to make improvements and move forward and come up with
Yeah.
He
a
wants
plot
the hay.
plan. And they at this point, we gotta figure out how much acreage they can actually hay and
Yeah.
what Natural Heritage wants us to actually preserve. I've told them, I said, give us a proposal. They told me it's gonna take 2 to 3 years to get the crop established. I said, well, if you spend that kind of time and energy getting it, how long are you gonna need to hay it afterwards to get your money back?
What kind of crop, hay?
Just hay.
Yeah.
I mean, they just wanna mow
Oh, you
it for
have
hay.
seed? Do you seed for hay?
So they'll have
Oh, I
to-
didn't know that. It's not just wild grass.
Yeah, it's just not wild grass.
Oh, I didn't know.
I mean, if they're gonna put, generally they Timothy and alfalfa or
Is that
maybe
what it
clover
is?
mix in it and, but they aren't interested in corn or anything else,
No.
it's just hay, which Natural Heritage I'm sure would be happier having.
And that
But
would
also
be
under that
fairly
agreement,
invasive.
I told him, I said, we'd want you to probably
Manage
once,
the-
maybe twice a year, mow the entire parcel to keep the invasives down. To do it outside of nesting time for migratory birds, turtles, and anybody like that. So if we had buffer areas around where they're hanging that could be,
Is there any wooded areas up in there, or is it mostly?
it's
fields?
mostly field.
That would keep the invasives.
Right, and my concern was keeping the invasives
I
from
hate
coming
those
back in.
things.
Which if we let it go too long, they're gonna have
They're
a
brutal.
nightmare.
Yeah,
So there is interest, so we'll
good, excellent.
pursue that going forward.
When you think of the management plans, I do have some grassland and habitat management plans from trustees of reservations.
Okay.
If you would ever like to see that as a model.
Yeah, if you did, because I was also, I've worked with DCR on
Yeah.
their Wachusett Reservoir parcels, where they're now mowing it only once, twice, maybe 3 times a year
And you
Or
go
the
down
nesting
through the center and
habitat
then go out
for
around.
migratory songbirds and stuff. And so they've stopped their every 2-week mowing cycle. So I'm gonna ask them for a copy of what their plan is and see if we can come up with something that would be doable and
Sure, sounds good.
benefit everybody. But other than that, that's all I had.
Okay,
Anybody else?
No,
Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
make the motion.
second.
Moving second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're done.